Hey everybody, this is Charlie Dobbins, and in this episode of the Look Over My Shoulder video series, I'm going to let you in on an eavesdrop call, so to speak, with one of my clients. He had sent me a property package, which I've included here for your review. You can take a look at it and make sure that you can follow along with our discussion. But what you'll see is how I'm able to go through a property package very quickly and determine, using the cash flow analyzer, whether we have a deal or not. And as you will quickly find out, not everything you see is as good as it looks. And don't be surprised about that. You'll see a lot of apartment owners trying to put lipstick on a pig. That's not your fault. And that shouldn't become your problem. So just be prepared for it. So listen to this video. It's about half an hour long. And make sure you tune in next week for the next video in the Masterclass series. So it's great to have you on board, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, so there's the property right there. Now, what we're going to do is we take it through. There's all the disclaimers, confidential. You know, which guy are you working with, Cody, Matt, or Peter?
Cody.
Okay, so he's middleman on the totem pole. All right, obviously you can see those types of railings, man. That code enforcement loves those railings. So you got to make sure those are really good when you buy the property. Also, these exterior stairs. Man, I've had more problems with those exterior stairs with just rot because of the age of a property. So this one's a 23 unit. All right, built in '68. Excellent mix, mostly twos. That's good. 3 stories, professionally managed on-site laundry. So when it says on-site laundry, that means we're going to have some laundry income in here. Exceptional landscaping and a newer roof and an updated boiler system. So boiler system means that it's not going to be a tenant-paid property. Most likely you're paying the bills. Most likely there may be a RUBS system, but we'll wait to see. Now, the cap rate for the property is 6.22. That's the current 23 units. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to jump over to input the rent roll 2-1. Where were we? 2. Okay, so let me just see if I can remember this. 2 of these. There were. No, this was a 1-bedroom. Are you there? I don't know if you put me on mute.
Yeah, I'm muting because
Okay.
I'm outside and there's some road noise.
Okay, no problem.
And then I can
20
talk
of
about it
these.
behind your back.
Yeah, exactly. You and everybody else. 3 bed. Let me see. I just want to make sure we build this out properly so that it looks. So we got 221, all 1 bed, 1 baths. Let's see if they give us any more information as far as the square footage. No, they don't. We might need to get that later. See, they've got a gas boiler, a chiller boiler system. They're going to require new financing, which means you don't have to assume anything. That's good. Built in '68. Property has a newer roof and is less than 7 years old. In 2020, over $14,000 was spent installing 2 Eternal Hybrid 97% efficient on-demand water heaters with 115-gallon storage tanks. So yeah, you are dealing. So you got 2. How many buildings are there? Doesn't say. It looks like 2, maybe 3 buildings. So you want to make sure that all of them have the new storage tanks and water heaters. And says the current owner has replaced long-term tenants and renovated units. Okay, well, we'll see that and see how that plays out. All right, it's not a bad-looking property. You look over here, you've got another apartment building right down the street. Maybe there's one down here. So you've got a lot. You probably have a lot of competition. These fences look kind of crappy, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so we've got the current rent on the 2s is $688. 688. 861 and 1,000. All right. 861 and one. All right, so there we have the total potential income of 235. All right, we're going to come back to that in just a minute. Let me see. I think it was down about 4. Then, if we go over to go back to this, what other information? So what they've got here is they're showing you the current rent and the pro forma rent. Essentially, what they're saying is their 1 bedrooms are grossly underpriced. The 2 bedrooms could are about 5% off. And the one 3 bedroom is right at market. You know, obviously that is not going to be an issue because we're basing our numbers on the rents, the current rents, and you know you only have 2 1 bedrooms, so you know the fact that you're that low, big deal. You get 22 bedrooms. You're 40, you're about 5% below market on that. Okay, so that's fine. All right, I'm not going to use.
When you look at this, do you usually like to see more flexibility? I mean, it doesn't seem like there's that much room to grow the rents.
No, well, the thing is, you have to understand that one of the biggest mistakes people make is to think that, oh, you know, I'm so far below the market, that's a huge value play. That's not a huge value play. That's a problem because in order for you to get to that higher market rent, you're going to have to turn your whole entire tenant base. And by turning your whole entire tenant base, now you've got to turn every single unit, and that costs a lot of money. So when you see a property that is really, you know, far down in the market rents, that's not always a good thing. So in this particular case, what they're telling me is that the loss to lease, which is what we're talking about here, is really not that bad. You know, if you're looking at 5% on the 1 bedrooms, if you're looking at 5% on the 1 bedrooms, that's not that much of a concern. You can bump that up in about 2 years, get it up to market, so you'll be fine with that. What I'm seeing here is that these numbers are okay as far as the loss to lease goes. So which tends to mean that the property is being run well. So as you can see, if you get a 5% loss to lease and you've got a 5% vacancy allowance, you know, but this is on the operating data. We're not going to look at this. This is all, you know, pie in the sky. This is our buddy Matt making up the numbers. What we're going to be looking at, let me just flip through these just to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. Okay, yeah, everything's, look how great Denver is. All right, so that's fine. What I'm most concerned about, or what I really want to look at is, I'm going to X out of this. I'm going to go to this. This is it right here. All right. So over the last 12 months, first thing I'm going to look at is their rental income was $188, almost $189,000. Okay, $189,000 is what they collected on this property. So let's go back and stick that number in there. $189,000. Look at what they could have collected, $235. So we've got quite a difference here in how this property is being run. Essentially, what we have to do is put a 20% vacancy rate in there. You see that? What happened is when I put 20% in this vacancy rate, my effective rental income came up at $188,000, which is right on the money for what they collected for rent. You see? So this property, oh, it's a 5% vacancy, baloney. It's a 20% vacancy when you're looking at it on a cash basis. Now let's take a look at some of the other information. Utility income, $7,000. Okay, that means that even though it is on a chiller boiler basis, they are collecting, you know, let me see, $7,000 divided by 12. They're collecting utility income from all the residents. What else do we have on here? And now look at this. Whenever you see repair and maintenance income in the form of income, that's not always a good thing. And as you can see, it's only $40, so it's really no big deal. That means somebody broke something and they charged the tenant for it. If you see that there's a big number and that's like a huge source of income, that's not a good source of income. You don't want to use that. You don't want to use that income in there. So late fee income, $980. application fee income, other income. You'd want to know what that other income is. Laundry income of $21.47. Now, $21.47 divided by 12 equals 178. Now, the typical rule of thumb is $23 times 10 is you should be getting about $230 per unit, $230 per month of laundry income. Rule of thumb is $10 per unit per month, and here you're running at about 178 or so. So you're kind of a little low on the laundry income. I don't know why that is, but no big deal. What I'm going to do
$10 per unit per month.
Is typically, when you see that number, that means that they have a laundry contract with somebody. If you see a number that's closer to 20, that means the guy is doing the laundry contract himself, and that means you're going to have to take over the maintenance and upkeep of all of those laundry units.
Unless you bring somebody else in, contract them in.
Well, then you contract them in, and then your revenue gets cut in half.
Right.
So let's see if I come over here to this, and I'm just going to put in other down here of 800. It's going to be $800 a month.
So do you include all that maintenance income and late fees in your NOI calculation, or do you throw it out?
I include that if it's it looks to be pretty stable. The application fee income's okay. Nothing's really jumping out at me. I do want to know what this other income is of $46.17. Is that like a security deposit forfeiture income? You'd really want to get clarification as to what that number is, so that you don't, if it's bad income, you don't end up capitalizing it and overpaying for the property. All right, okay. So there is the number. So total income of $205,000. Let's see how that compares to what we came up with. If we look here, the total income we said is 205. We're at 204. So we're right on the money. Okay. So right now, so our numbers are right in line with their trailing 12. Now we're going to take a look at the expenses. All right, I go over here to expenses. Now, I'm going to, this is where it gets kind of tricky. I'm just going to go through it quickly with you and just grab some of the top lines. Now, looks like the guy pays his insurance bill once a year, $82.86. So we're going to put that in there under insurance, $82.86. His next line item, property taxes, $5,090. That's pretty big. I mean, that's pretty low. I wonder, if that is a low tax area, $5,090. Oops. Okay, then.
Yeah, I mean, my property taxes on my personal residence are going to be almost double that.
Oh, mine are triple that on mine.
Right. And
the thing is that it's you got to understand the market that you're in. I was looking at these properties that we're looking to acquire in Tennessee. As we're doing the due diligence, I said to my wife, I said, well, we've got to, contact, the assessor's office and make sure all these taxes have been paid and confirm that these numbers are right. And then she hands me a sheet, and I said, what's this column right here? And these 300, 200, and 180 and 500. She goes, that's the annual tax bill. I said, you've got to be kidding me. That's a utility payment for our house, or that's like a cell phone bill. I said, forget it. I mean, it's so low. Why bother wasting your time doing the due diligence as to see whether it was paid or not? Because, they're all so ridiculously low. But, I mean, obviously in this, you don't do that in this case. You make sure that they've all been paid. All right. So now we're going to look at the utility expense, $19,455. I'm just going to lump that down here as $19,455. Let me see. What I also want to do is go back to the rent roll. Utility, $583 times 12. So you see they collect $7,000 in utility income, but they pay out $20,000 in expenses. So that might be a place where you can, as we say, a value play, where we figure out that how can we increase the utility income on these people. So that's it. The trash, $41.78. Wow, it's pretty steep. So we've got trash removal, $41.78. Trash, fire inspection. Okay, capital expenses. This is interesting because look at what they're doing. They're showing this profit and loss 12-month recap, and they're putting the capital expenses above the line. That's weird. I would definitely speak to the broker and get clarification as to why they're doing it that way. That I'm not, in my analysis, I'm not putting that $24,000 in there. So I'm going to leave that out. But you know, as we go through the due diligence, I want to see.
Why wouldn't we keep it in? Why wouldn't we keep it in there? Because that makes their NOI look lower.
Well, the thing is, it does make their NOI look lower, but the fact of the matter is, it is what it is. With the generally acceptable accounting principles, you include the CapEx where it's supposed to go, which in this particular case should be below the line. Somebody made a mistake here with this putting it above the line, unless it's not a mistake. And once we go through the due diligence and find out, hey, you know what, these aren't CapEx, these are typical repairs and maintenance. We have to include that back in the line. We're going to go and change our whole entire offer. Then you kind of throw it back in the broker's face and say, well, what were you thinking? But that's why you want to have this conversation now with the broker and ask them about the CapEx being in the P&L statement. So get that on, you know, that makes you look good as a buyer. That shows that you've really done your analysis on this deal.
Right.
Okay. So that's a point of conversation with the broker. I'm keeping it out because I don't think it should be in there. All right, so let's see. Floor. Okay, you got the $16,618 for the floor covering and paint. Now that would be an above-the-line expense, correctly. Now I'm just going to take it and I'm going to add it in there to this repair and maintenance number, this total repair and maintenance number. Wait a minute.
Which one are you looking at?
I was looking at 5016, and now I'm looking at 5050, and I'm trying to figure out 5050. Okay, I'm going to take the floor covering and paint of 16618, and I'm going to add it to this 30,700. Okay, you see where I did that?
I didn't see the screen switch.
Okay, hold on a
I
second.
just see profit and loss.
Okay, there, I just put it in there. So as you can see, that's a really big number, $2,000, even under the repairs and maintenance. But remember, what I'm doing here is I'm actually including in that number landscaping of 5,000, 5,400. So.
Well, shouldn't it be all included in there?
Well, what happens is that's actually a contract service. So if we take landscaping and put in 5,400 here, go back down here and put in 41,918, that's going to give us a little bit better look. But you see, you're still at $1,800 for repairs and maintenance. That's a huge number. The repair and maintenance, what is driving this thing? Cleaning, $4,200 for cleaning. That's, but the thing is, yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff, crazy expenses going on in here. They got a maintenance salary in here. Wait a minute, there's another problem. 5,380. Let's put that in there. Hold on, we're gonna back that out. Let me see. Where's payroll right here? 5,380, and then I'm going to take this number, drop it down to 36,538. All right, so now we're at $1,500. So we're getting there, but there's still a lot of stuff in these numbers that I just don't like. I mean, you might. Yeah.
So what stands out to you? The maintenance salary?
The thing that stands out to me right now is right here. If you look at this screen, you see the maintenance per unit per year expense of $1,500. And remember, this is repairs and maintenance that I'm putting in there. I really want to get clarification on that number. That number it should be repairs and maintenance. Should be between $700 and $1,000 per unit per year. So I don't know why it's that much, and that bothers me. Then I've got pest control.
So what are the specific questions you would ask? Because I can just say repairs and maintenance is high. Why? Or am I pointing out specific things?
Yeah, what you say is, listen, I backed out. I saw the trailing 12, and let me pull it up here. I saw the trailing 12, and your category for repairs and maintenance includes things like the maintenance salary and landscaping. I said even after I backed those out and put the salary correctly under the payroll and put the landscaping correctly under the contract services, I still come up with about $1,500 per unit per year for repairs and maintenance, which just really bothers me. And in addition, I also see that you've got the capital expenditures above the line in the profit and loss statement. Now, why would you do that? And are they truly capital expenditures, or should they be considered operational expenses?
Okay.
So those are some of the things. See, like, contract repair and maintenance. 6297. That might be part. Let's try that one. Minus 6297. All right, hold on. Let's go back because we're still accounting for everything correctly. Where is contract? Let's put 6297 here because, as you see, there was a contractor bill in there, which is going to bring this down to 241. So now I'm at $1,300 per unit. Still high, still high. Okay, let me jump on back here. Landscaping. Okay, next page. Administration, $4,200. I'm just going to throw this right up here in the top. Let's just put it in there. 4,200. Go back here. Legal, professional, $755. Other, closing costs, $750. So another $1,000. Okay, and they're using $21,000 for maintenance or management. All right, so we're just going to stick another $1,000 in here under accounting, and then we got to figure out 5. No, they're almost doing like a 10% management fee.
Right.
That's pretty steep. Okay. All right, so there we have it. And we're up to a 55% expense ratio, which is pretty low for a chiller boiler system, all bills paid property. Yeah, that's kind of a concern. But let's go with it. I mean, we can figure this all out on the we can figure out all of this on the due diligence portion. Okay, so we've got all the information in there. What was the? Did they give you a purchase price on this deal? Did they give you?
I think so. Yeah.
Cap rate is 6.2. Well, $1.5 million.
Hold on. Real estate and Park Street. I had a purchase price of $2,575. 2.575.
Okay, we got a problem. Here's the problem. They're putting it in as 2,575. They're telling us the cap rate right now is 6.2. Based upon the NOI that we just calculated, the actual value of this property is about $1.485 million. So we're off by about $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Now but this is an opportunity to speak to the broker and tell them what you're doing.
That's cool that it auto calculates there. It hasn't done that on mine.
Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't doing it on yours. That's kind of strange. So that's the I don't know what you did, but it was not. It does it on mine, and I'm not on a Mac. I don't know if you are.
I'm on a PC.
Okay.
I'm on a PC. I'll just start a fresh one and see if it does it right.
Yeah, because you definitely want it to do that, because that's a cool feature.
You just send me this one, and then I'll just start working off this one.
Okay, I can send you this one. Okay, so what I did is I fixed the banking information. I put in 25% down payment. I put in 5% interest rate, and I did it at a 30-year AM, which is kind of a long term. Property this old, you might be more realistic with a 25-year AM. So, all right, fine. We got all those numbers in there, but the fact is that the valuation is way off. And the reason why the valuation is way off, look at this. Look at the cash flow analysis. If you were to sell this property at the end of the first year based upon what you buy it for and what the market is for at the end of the first year, you'd lose $1.18 million.
Right.
So, this thing's not a deal at this price. And the fact is, let's take a look at this. Let me go back here. Hold on a second. I shouldn't have X'd out of it. Hold on. Okay. Check this out. They have their net operating income of $24,000, right?
Right.
Your net operating income is $92,000. So you're giving them a $70,000 head start, and they're still not even coming close. You're still off by $1 million over what they're asking for. So this is a great opportunity for you to call the broker and call them on it and say, are you kidding me? How can this work? How can you expect me to get financing on this deal at a 6.2 cap with an NOI that you say is $24,000, and you want me to pay you $2.5 million for the property? How do I do that? And then that's when the broker does the old humana, because he's got no answer for you. That's the beauty of this business. It is just strictly numbers, no emotion. It is what it is. I mean, you tell me how at a six. Think about it. This guy told you in his package that the market is 6.2 for a cap rate. He's telling you
Right.
and he's telling you in the trailing 12 that his NOI is 24,000.
At his NOI of 24,000 divided by that cap rate, the
Yep.
purchase price
Yep,
is less
I know.
than $400,000.
Exactly, $387,000. How
Right.
do you do that? You would have to, check reality at the door, and come up with a pro forma land. And if he can find you a pro forma bank, then we're all good. But there's no such thing as a pro forma bank.
Right.
So you got a
Right.
conversation
I'll
to
give him an
have.
offer for $400,000 right now.
Exactly. And what do? You look at it and you say, hey, I'm sorry, but this is the best I could do.
Right.
All right. My call.
Well, I'll call him and I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah. So that's
So let's table this because this is clearly ridiculous, and I need some more clarification.
This
one
is
thing
this
I
is
wanna
where
get from you before.
I was just going to say this is where the the fact that you're a California investor, they walk in there and they write a stupid check for properties like this, and that's the guy is hoping to get a California investor to buy his deal. So
I said this to one of the other brokers where I said they were being unrealistic. She's like, somebody will pay that price, and I said, well, good for them.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. Hold on, what's the name of this? This is Carr Street.
Carr Street. That's a joke.
All right. Yeah.
So let me ask you this real quick. I'm going to be with some people next week for a few days,
Yep.
and a lot of these people have money.
Yep.
And I'm pretty set on trying to lock down this North Carolina deal. Just so
Okay.
you know.
Which one is it?
Your North Carolina deal.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
I'd really
Sorry
like
about
to
that.
do that deal.
Okay.
So number one question. Let's say I'm able to come up with the money, or how? Number one question: how were the packages so different? Because the first package said.
Oh, I know.
You
You know what? I got to tell you, I'm not quite sure. I think part of it, I got to go back and take a look at it because 210 is the right number.
Okay.
210. I don't know why. I think what happened was it was such a huge difference in numbers. I think the problem was that I didn't input the information about the seller finance $100,000 thing the way it was supposed to go, and that got added into the cash needs, the sources of funds. So
Okay.
I think that was what the problem was in the first one, and I figured out how to do it on the software the next time.
Do me a favor. Send me
Sure.
an updated one because I'm going to be printing out copies of this and taking it
Okay.
with me. So that's number one. Number two, let's say I'm able to come up with the 210, and let's say they want 75% of the equity. Fine. Do you have an interest in holding an equity stake in this still?
No, I mean, hold on a second. Let me